Aloha, Richard and Mike.
Hello, hello.
How are you?
All right, how are you?
Very well, sir.
Good, good.
Weathering the storm and yourself, sir.
Trying, yep, best we can. Same.
Understood. Understood.
Here I am.
Aloha, Richard. How are you?
Then I was doing good. How about you, my friend?
Thank God you're doing a gig, I see.
I was fooling around with the virtual background. So
Sure.
it was my last creation before all hell broke loose.
I understand. I kind of a
You
funny.
doing?
I'm good. I had a funny thing last night. You know, my wife's a retired chef, and she has lots of time in her hands. And you know, I've gained a few pounds, and I told my wife, I said, going, you got to give me some smaller portions. You got to get a little easier on me. And this morning I woke up like at 4 a.m. and I woke up because I was dreaming, and I like smelled somebody making chili, and I went, holy crap. I've gotten to the point that now I'm dreaming about eating food. This is really, really bad. You know, I'm taking a protein drink for the next 3 days, you know. And sure enough, my wife had woke up. The animal had woken her up, and she decided it was time to cook. So at least I felt a little bit better that I just didn't have some sort. Anyways.
Dreaming about food. That's cool.
No, I was kind of worried about it, actually. Oh man. Supposed to reopen in August. Now it's September, so we'll see. We'll see. Any of you guys caught in the heat wave on the mainland?
LA is fluctuating. Today it's gray and almost like June gloom for no reason.
Morning, guys.
Morning. How do, Andrew?
Another day in paradise.
Hello.
That looks like one of the new medical trailers.
That is the morning video running in the background.
Excellent. And that was quite a feat.
That took a little bit of a challenge, but figured throw something together that would help us survive.
Very good.
I'm not one to sit around and wait.
Understood. Cheers. Morning.
Chaz Harrington is there.
Aloha, Chaz.
Hey. Hi.
He says.
How are you all?
Not bad, not bad. Just making the best of it. Let's just say the movie world is slowly ramping up more than the live entertainment world, but that's for obvious reasons.
I see Carolina has joined us here.
Carolina's joined in.
Carolina.
Hola.
Mr. Marcel.
Marcel.
Hola, Carolina.
Hola. Hola. What's going on? I hear an echo.
That's your.
That's me? No, it wasn't me. Chaz Harrington's here? Chaz, turn your mic on.
Hey, man. How are you?
Wow. Is this your first time coming on?
No, I've listened to it on the phone a few times.
Ah, you're one of them voyeur types.
Stealth guy, you know?
Stauff. Well, very nice to hear your voice, Chaz. How you doing? Well, I hope.
I'm okay, man. How are you?
I'm okay. A little bit bored at times, but generally fairly busy, remarkably.
Yeah, I'm learning to be an Herman Miller I'm learning to be right now. Just trying to fix my
Yeah.
damn chair here.
Yeah. So people are popping on fast and furiously here. I definitely want to apologize, Jeff Ravitz. I just saw you, and so you reminded me that last week a lot of people tried to come into the happy hour, and I guess didn't get the notice that it wasn't happening last week. So I apologize to those of you, because as everyone was popping in and putting up questions saying, "Are we having this call this week?" I think I was at a race event or I was somewhere, but I couldn't even jump on and say, "Hey, everyone, go home."
I finally figured it out. I talked to myself for about 20 minutes and then
Well, at least you had an interesting host as opposed to today. So Ray Ziegler with his new tight haircut. That is a very tight haircut, Ray.
I was waiting to get picked on.
I'm not picking on you. I think it looks damn good. It's an improvement.
It's what old lighting guys do just before they go to the graveyard.
Shave their head? I don't know. I know
shave
so many people, like, I don't know who knows Brandon Simeon, but he was ugly when he had hair. And when he shaved his head, that is a beautiful man right there.
Not that you swing that way, but in case you did.
No. And for those who do, good on you. I don't care. So I'm trying to let as many people get in as I possibly can before I hand the microphone to Mr. Strickland, who, it's very unfair, Michael, that you would send a notice right before I got to get on this call saying a great day, and I didn't have time to read it. So
I'll talk about it.
I literally got it about 5 seconds before I had to start this Zoom call. So thanks for the timing on that one.
Yeah,
I'm going to get you to start talking, and then I'm going to go read it while you're talking.
That's what I'm going to talk about. So
yeah, perfect. So I'm sure we have a lot more people coming. There's 45 people on here right now or something. So why don't you go ahead and start giving us that update, Mr. Strickland, because I'm definitely looking forward to it. I know this is probably one of the most important weeks that we've all had as far as our industry goes.
sorry, I'm getting blown up.
Uh-oh.
Turn my phone to no ring.
It might have something to do with sending that memo out 2 minutes before you jumped on here, right?
Never thought about that. I'm ready if you guys are.
Go on.
Andrew's sitting in front of his Infinity medical vehicle.
Gotta throw a video wall in front of it every now and then to just have some fun.
Where is that? I got to go find that.
You need to occasionally have somebody walking across the back in a costume.
I do, actually.
I mean, a costume like something stupid.
Oh, hold on. I'll switch to that one. I got the tap dancer.
I love that that background screen that you've got in your demo videos and stuff, because it makes it look obviously like you have 100 containers lined up.
Now we had some fun.
Very good. Who is that dude though, dressed as the doctor?
No, the nurse. I'm more
stock.
concerned about the nurse.
Yeah, it's all stock content. It's I had Niles, David Niles did the video.
Oh, okay.
And, he clipped it together pretty quick.
Hey,
Cool.
Andrew, this is Beth.
Yeah.
I just did a medical command center conference, and I had a whole bunch of heads of different hospitals throughout the country that I worked with as faculty.
Yep.
Email me. I can make some introductions to you.
I will do that.
So, yes, do that before you forget. And I'll put my email in the chat.
Beth, you're the one person that Andrew hasn't emailed this.
I think you might be one of the few.
No,
I will tell you, if I need a medical container, I definitely know where to get it at this point. Between you and Patrick Dearson, who's quite the spokesmodel.
We pretty much, he's definitely the front facing image of this thing.
Yeah. And he's got himself a selfie stick now, walking
He
around,
does.
filming him. Look at what I have here, you know. He's quite good at it.
I'm amazed
Fun.
he's actually not on here either.
Yeah, where the hell is he? We're talking about him for once.
Yeah.
What the heck, Patrick? So Michael, please go ahead.
Okay, first and foremost, I would like to thank everybody that's in this loop. I think most, if not all of you, are in the email loop and have been, and hopefully will continue to reach out to the legislators and to communicate and to do the things that you do. To date, I have extrapolated based on the knowledge that I have of who receives sort of my updates and then what they do with them. And I've been able to track down 50,000 people that receive these emails.
Wow.
Sure Microphones has a universe of 1,000 that they send to, so on and so forth. But here is the point. What we began last Thursday, I guess, when I sent that what I call D-Day email out, everybody really engaged, and that includes all the various media people that stepped up to the plate and went way overboard to put things on their websites and on their social media. And then of course the joining with NAM, which most of you have read the beginning of that, has been phenomenal, because the NAM as a brand is respected outside of our echo chamber. We tend to talk to one another. You know, everybody in this call is in the business. So we tend to talk in our own echo chamber. But the NAM thing is a respected brand outside of our world. And it was picked up by what you would call mainstream media. And it went in different areas, and it got different conversations started. And then through people that I've come to know in this, I've already had a phone interview with Time Magazine, and I've got a Washington Post, a New York Times, a Yahoo, and a what's the other one, of Bloomberg lined up.
Wow. Damn.
Hopefully those will all happen today and tomorrow. It's in time for what's going on. And then there's a whole lot of other sort of out of our echo chamber stuff going on. And I try not to bore you with too much detail. And I know my emails are long and blathering, but half the people want that and half the people probably don't. So I'd rather err on the side of too much information as opposed to too little. But where we sit today, because of the email cascade that we sent out over the weekend, again, I'm in direct touch now with 6 or 8 or 10 legislators, and they're telling me, and their staff is telling me verbally and via email, we're getting a landslide. We're getting all of this information. This is happening. And we're well aware. Now, they were aware before, but they're more aware than ever. And we have one more move via email that I will send you tomorrow. That's going to be the final hammer to the Congress folks and the senators. But what has happened last night and today, there was, I apologize for the email yesterday telling you about the luncheon that the Republicans had, because I left out 2 sentences. When the Republicans finished their luncheon, the Republican leaders then went and met with Pelosi and Schumer to tell them what was going on. And I left that out of the letter. A couple of people emailed me and said, my senators are Democrats. Why should I email them? Which was a great question. But at any rate, they got together after the lunch yesterday and began to talk about what's going to happen. And long story short, yesterday there was dissension within the Republican ranks, and the bill didn't go out. There's still dissension this morning, to-ing and fro-ing. They're trying to agree on different things. I believe the bill will drop tomorrow. If any of you have read the email, probably the best news is there was a small meeting last night, including the president, Mnuchin, and some other people. And I had one of my folks in the meeting. And the president has said for several weeks that he will not sign any bill that doesn't include the payroll tax relief until the end of the year. One of my 2 fears was that the president would cling to that and they would get to a bill, but the president wouldn't sign it because it wouldn't have payroll tax relief. And the Democrats have made it clear they're not going to budge on that. My other concern is how much money goes to states as being a tripping point for all of this. Well, last night, the president backed off of that. Now, you haven't seen that in the press. You haven't heard about it. Happened in a small meeting. It's not a secret because I know it, but it's not out in mainstream media. So the president standing on that point has disappeared as a stumbling block, which leaves us with one stumbling block, which is the Democrats want $1 trillion for states, and the Republicans, I'm told, are going to have 150 billion in the package. So you can see there's a big air gap there. Now, I'm hearing conversation that they'll probably settle at around 500 million. The Republicans are suggesting a $1 trillion package. The Democrats, through the HEROES Act, had put forth a $3 trillion package. As I'm told, the Republicans' $1 trillion package, they're negotiating. They're probably going to let it get pushed to 1.3. I don't know how 500 billion fits in the scheme of the math all the way around, but again, that is my only concern right now from everything that I know. I think they can and will probably work through all the other issues. The only stumbling block I see is how much money goes to the states. So we have no control over that. So point number one is the president backing down off of the payroll tax holiday. The PPP extension includes to be something that both sides have agreed on. What we don't know is exactly how they're going to affect it. We'll find that out when the bill comes out. There's multiple different philosophies. The most prevalent philosophy is that for those of you that got a tranche of PPP, you will get twice as much. In other words, you got 10 weeks worth, you'll get another 20 weeks worth. So you would simply get twice what you got under the same conditions, and hopefully standing up to the same paperwork that you already executed, so that you would only execute a note with your lender. So I feel comfortable, and the people that are talking to me feel comfortable that the PPP extension is going to stand up through the end of the year. The unemployment insurance, again, is nothing's changed there. They all agree to it, both sides of the aisle. It's just going to be what's the number, because one's at 0 and one's at 600. I'm still hearing 400. So again, just stay tuned. We won't really find out, I don't think, until even tomorrow when the bill drops. The bill's going to drop tomorrow, most likely, with no unemployment insurance in it, because it's a bargaining chip. So don't freak out when you hear that. They're going to be pushed from 0 to something, the Republicans are. Probably the biggest news of all, and if you've read the letter, which is really exciting, Tim Kaine signed on to the Restart Act on July 1st, but yesterday 6 people signed on, including Dianne Feinstein and Duckworth and my own Marcia Blackburn. And then today, and this is not public yet, but Lamar Alexander has signed on. And there's now some weight into the names of who have signed on. Certainly Feinstein and Alexander and Marcia are some weighty people, as is Duckworth. And I don't mean this negative toward anybody else that had previously signed on, but we've kind of got some of the all-stars signed on in terms of visibility. And the reason these people signed on is because of the communications that all of you have put forth. Suddenly the Restart Act, and if you haven't read it, I sent it to you 3-4 weeks ago. I can send it again if you want. Go read it. It's right down the alley. It will give all of you a lump of money, and the lump of money, in a simplistic term, will be 45% of your lost revenue. So if you made $1 million this year and you made $3 million last year, you'll get 45% of $2 million. What you do with that's up to you. In any portion of it that you spend on payroll or payroll-related items, and rent payment, interest on a mortgage, and a couple of other things will be forgiven. Anything else that you spend it on, it will simply be converted to a 5-year loan at 1%. Now, all of those numbers are subject to negotiation because that's what they're doing. But as written right now, that's what it is. So if you're a company that between now and the end of the year is going to spend all of that on payroll and payroll related items and the things that I named, it'll all be forgiven. But whatever portion of it will be converted to this 5-year loan. And they're even talking about extending the loan. Under Restart, it may not be a 5-year loan. They're talking about potentially making it 7. They're talking about making it 10. It's, all of that is the devil's in the details. But that is a much more desired outcome for our industry, because most of you probably won't bring people back and pay them out of the funding. Most of you will probably just take the money and use it to survive and let your people stay on unemployment, enhanced unemployment, and then you'll probably convert the whole thing to a loan. And I know that because I've talked to a lot of people. They, out of necessity, they have to do that. And then they would say to me, well, why would I bring the staff back on to pay them to sit in the shop and do nothing? You know, it just makes no sense. So the good news is, with these heavyweights signing on, and there seems to be this shift from 2 weeks ago where I couldn't get a conversation about Restart to a point where Restart seems to look very appealing to a lot of the political leaders. And literally just before I came on, Marcia texted me. She's on the floor of the Senate right now, and you know, said some very positive things about the way that it's headed and what it looks like is going to happen, which fits in line with all of this. So what that looks like, to wrap up for all of us, is, and again, I'm guessing, but I believe this to be true, whatever you received in PPP previously, you'll receive twice that, and it most likely will be delivered in a fashion such that you do have the choice as to spend it on people and have it forgiven, or spend it on everything else and have it convert into some kind of a grant. What I'm pushing for and urging all of you to push for is the fact that this happens sooner rather than later, because mid-August would be nice. And I've made them aware that this can't go on, you know, for 6 or 8 weeks, that more and more people fall by the wayside as that happens. And if you look, I sent out what did I send out? The NEVA ask is in there, and you can see that's the venue people, independent venue people. They're asking for basically the same thing, the Restart Act. I'm sorry, I'm having to look at my notes because I just did this. The National Independent Talent Organizations, NIDO, I'll send you that out later. There's a letter from them. Again, they're sort of asking for the same kind of thing, but again, focused. And there's an SOS, Save Our Stages bill that just dropped, and I included that in there. What that is, basically, it's very narrow to sort of agents and promoters and venues, sort of kind of. It's a narrowing. And what I'm being told by all the politicians is they're going to do this broad-based solution for everyone that suffered a reduction in income 50% or more. And they're not going to go do slivers to particular, they're not going to pick winners and losers. They don't want to say, okay, venues get it, but sound and lights don't. They're going to just keep it as one pool. But the point of all of this is that we have a phenomenal group of people. We're looped in with all of the disciplines, plus fireworks and Broadway and film and television and NIDO and NEVA, and the fair people are now involved. We've had some phenomenal work there because of you guys and gals within the fair world, and we're all kind of asking for the same thing, which is to stand up some more money for us to get through the end of the year. And I'll close by saying, because it's very important, the fireworks people and the Broadway people are in a very different circumstance, because they are completely dead in the water until July. And that's going to be a whole nother work. And ultimately, as you've read a little bit, and you're going to get more, there's 3 things that are going to happen. One is going to be asks from all of you and everyone in the industry to join NAM, because the lobbying efforts of NAM, while they're transparent to you, are 50% of what I'm now doing, because they have this phenomenal lobbying effort. 2 years ago, they got $1.4 billion for music education. It's a very serious effort. So the first thing is going to be an ask to get all the companies and all the manufacturers to join NAM. The second thing will be to get the manufacturers to consider displaying at NAM so that we have a bigger voice at NAM. And then the third piece will be with the Event Safety Alliance and Jim Digby and those people to start getting our hands around a good housekeeping seal of approval for our industry that gives the consumer confidence to walk back into a show. And right now, it seems like the Event Safety Alliance are the people that have gone the farthest and done the most. So they're already wrapped into the NAM initiative, and you'll be getting a lot of conversation going forward about engaging Event Safety Alliance as part of a bigger educational / safety issue, so that as we all go forward, that happens. And there are a lot of other organizations, great organizations that I haven't mentioned, that will be involved in this, and this is by no means exclusionary. If I've missed anything, let me know. But that's kind of where it sits. And with that, I'll shut up and take questions.
Yeah, first, Michael, thank you so much for that update, for that very thorough update. And I think I speak for all of us in telling you that, first of all, you know, your updates are not boring or too long-winded or any of those things. We appreciate you more than I think you'll ever know. You know, you've been sort of the guardian angel for our industry and have done so much and continue to do so much. And so thank you from me, and I think thank you from 60, however many people are on here right now. I did actually, there's a couple of people that I wanted to get to step up here. One was Rocco, because you keep mentioning the fireworks industry, and we do have Rocco Vitale here, who is obviously, him and his family for God knows how many years have been a huge part of the fireworks industry. And I think Rocco's here on the call, right, Rocco?
Hey, Marcel, how are you? Yep, I'm here.
They have been instrumental in this. Rocco and Stephen have been leading me. Hi, Rocco, in so
Hi,
many
Michael.
directions. So many directions. It's just incredible. You need to give those guys a hand.
And so when you say that fireworks in particular are shut down until the 4th of July next year, why is that? Like, why are they being singled out?
Well,
I know, but I'll let Rocco tell you.
Yeah, I mean, I think so when Michael had sent out an email a couple weeks ago regarding media, Stephen and I got together and we were like, we can help here, because the one thing about our business was that we had the one singular date, which was July 4th, that was 2 weeks ago, where we could bring awareness to the story, because there was this date that everyone's used to seeing fireworks for. We have an association on the fireworks side called the American Pyrotechnics Association, where we pulled together and we got aligned on we typically see a ton of media outreach during that time. Your local community saying, hey, how's our show going to be, blah, blah, blah. Well, we had a message to provide this year. So with that, we went on a big outreach campaign. And because the 4th of July was there, it was that date that everybody knew there was fireworks. We were able to tell our story of what we were experiencing this year. And really what the fireworks industry experienced this year was that the consumer side of the fireworks industry exploded. No pun intended. They had very, very good years. Where on the display side of things, it was communities were canceling their shows, postponing, and so forth. So long story short is when Stephen and I got together and said, we can help here. And we got a hold of Michael and said, look, we just had a huge media outreach. You know, Stephen, who runs our company, did Time Magazine. He did New York Times. He did Yahoo Finance. He did Fox Business. He did all of them, along with a bunch of other colleagues we have in the industry. It's a fairly tight-knit industry, just like this one is. And so I sent a note to Michael saying, look, we can help here, because we had all of the media contacts. We had the time. We had a spreadsheet with all of the contacts. So like a week ago, I mean, I just went on blast with Michael and Stephen on there to these reporters who were gracious enough to give the fireworks industry some PR over the 4th of July and what we were experiencing. And I'm like, hey, there's a bigger story to tell here.
What a great idea.
And that led to Michael. I know Michael and Stephen had a conversation with Time Magazine a couple of days ago, and he indicated there's more coming up. So we kind of, because we look at I grew up in the fireworks industry. We consider ourselves part of the entertainment industry. And we, like I said, we had this date to go at. We had this date that was like July 4th. So we were able to get so many media inquiries about what the
Yeah,
plight
you had a
of the
platform.
industry was.
You had
We
a
had a platform.
Big
Exactly. We had a
platform.
platform.
Yeah.
We had a big platform, and we told the story. And then Stephen and I were like, we have to share this with the entertainment business because we're equally entrenched as in this as well. So.
Yeah. No, that's amazing.
Let me say one more time. Let me say one more time. Thank you, Rocco and Stephen and
Absolutely.
all of you guys. In one moment, it took this message to places that we hadn't been able to get to before, and it's already began, and it's showing up, and these other things are going to happen tomorrow and Monday actually. But it gets it in places. The politicians don't come to our echo chamber. They don't. But they see those things there. So hats off, Rocco, to what you guys did.
Yeah, absolutely. We're just happy to be able to serve and do what we can here.
You know, another person I wanted to kind of call out here for a second was Cosmo, because Cosmo has been using the forms that you've been sending out, Michael, thank you, and just the process that you've been saying to follow. So, you know, I think everyone here knows Cosmo Wilson, Aerosmith, AC/DC, etc. Great guy, good gardener, great cook, and good diet expert now. He's telling everybody how to lose weight because he's bragging about losing 60 pounds, I think, or 55. But Cosmo, you had mentioned to me earlier today some success that you saw recently in sending out those letters.
Well, it's funny because I've been sending emails to my congressmen and senators mainly over the unemployment, because I can't get PPP, but the unemployment thing I can get. So I've been in contact with them. And then Michael, I got your form letters and I sent them to the legislative leaders and everybody you said on the email list. And I also, I got a response from Marco Rubio a few days ago, actually yesterday, I think, in relation to the unemployment, it wasn't a canned response, and when it was written by, maybe not him, but by somebody in his office. But I also sent, as I said, the forms that you sent, filled them out, you know, put my name on it and sent them there. And then I decided to do one more thing, and I sent more of a personal letter from myself stating the same thing, but basically saying, but not just myself, but all of us on this here and everybody in the industry that are suffering the same thing, you know, everybody from the lighting, sound, video, truck drivers, bus drivers, everybody in the same situation. And I sent it to the legislative, I can't remember which one, but she was from Marco Rubio's office. She responded almost immediately.
Was it Maggie?
Go ahead.
Was it Maggie?
No, it was, I can't remember her name, but she was out of the two people in Rubio's office, she was a legislative leader or something, I can look it up, but it's on your sheet. But
he's a big get.
What's that?
He's a big get, Marco Rubio.
Oh, definitely. So the fact that I got a response from him himself and then from one of his people in the office was amazing. And that she said, she was a personal email from her saying, thank you for the personal email and the explanation. So that made me feel, well, at least I got contact, and that's Lauren Reamy. That's it. Yes. Lauren Reamy was the one that contacted me back. So I just wanted to let you know, Michael, thanks for everything you're doing and sending those things out. And I mean, I got a response yesterday. Boom.
Yeah, that's Cosmos. Thank you. That's a great point. And I should have made that earlier. Besides sending that form letter, all of you can go back and send a second one and make it personal, because I think you'll see in this letter, once we got the contacts of the chief of staff and the legislative director, your responses are not canned. They're real. Right. So give them a real letter, make it personal. Because if you go through that other website we use for the first two letters, you get a canned response. This is you're shooting with live bullets in these addresses. So yeah, everybody go to your folks and give them a personal touch.
Hey, Michael, another question that Brad Nelms just asked was about indemnification. One of the things in your update you didn't mention, which I do know the answer to, but is there any update on indemnification in the new bill?
I didn't put that in there, right? Huh.
Well, I didn't read the email because it came in 5 seconds before I logged in, remember, but.
Well, that's what I wanted to really focus on too, Marcel, is the indemnification, because if you you know, if everything goes right, the money comes in and blah, 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 the vaccine happens and everything. But if you can't get an insurance policy, you're not going to do anything. Right.
John, are you in an office?
Yeah, I'm in LA. I've actually got some traction on a couple of projects, believe it or not.
Wow.
We'll
amazing.
see.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's what you didn't mention it, Michael. And you know, I just state the obvious here is that
it's in both sides of the aisle. It's in. It's just like right now, it won't be in the, just like the enhanced unemployment won't be in the Republican bill you see tomorrow. They intend on doing it. The Democrats are saying absolutely not to the indemnity, but they intend on doing it.
They're going to get over that because, you know, you've got 330 million people that's going to open up a country. And if you've got the Trial Lawyers Association, which has supported the Democrats for the last 100 years, they're making their play because look at if the indemnification is there, which it has to be because there will be no insurance policies written for anything to do. There's a group right now, there's a big pool of business called insurance liability policies. None of those are being written. That means no insurance companies are getting money in that one pool. It's a huge pool. The minute that indemnification comes in, there's going to be a mad dash to get us insurance, and they're going to sell it to us all day long. And so what's going to happen is the Republicans are going to say you got to have it. The Democrats are going to say, well, no, you can't. Then the Dems are going to have to turn to the Trial Lawyers Association and go, sorry, you guys, you got outweighed by the entire fucking country.
I'm talking to the Dems as well, and they assure me that's just the bargaining chip.
They can't die on that field.
They may die on the state's money, but they're not going to die on that one. They're willing to give it up. But here's the thing: I sent you all 2 emails ago a rough fact set for the liability release. The big hiccup to it is, and they're working on this. If you read every single one of those points, there's a back door into every one of them that says you've got to have done everything that you can do, and then they can still sue you. I'm assured they're going to clean that up and make it a strict release. I'm sure, because right now you can't be sued if somebody catches the flu or anything else. I mean, you just can't.
Well, Michael, come on, you can sue anybody for anything. However,
so makes it tougher.
Yeah, it makes it tougher. But in everyone like Cosmo and everyone who's writing these letters, and I've written a ton of these letters, and I've gotten nothing but form letters back. I mean, I actually called the governor's office and yelled at him to get my boat launched at Tahoe, and they called me back and said, "Yeah, you're right. We'll open it up tomorrow." It's like, so I got the boat launched, but nothing else. All I'm getting is form letters back. But if you write in these letters without indemnification, none of this means shit.
As I put in my letter,
you got to put that in. You can use that. You can use that wording, Michael. You can quote me.
There's much bigger people than us pushing that boat. I mean, much bigger people than us, and that's why I'm assured without us even being at the gate, that's going to be handled because everybody needs that.
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't done it yet. Maybe they're just saving it for when, you know, the last switch to flip on. But no, I can't thank you enough, Michael. Outstanding.
Hey, Michael, do we have a sense, senator-wise, how many senators are backing Restart? I know the number was like 21, I think, to 25 the other day.
No. It's 18 right now.
18.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but it sounds like you got some across the aisle, some partisan. So the other ones are going to follow. They're going to have to follow.
Once we picked up the people yesterday, it's starting to fall, and I know of 10 more, and it's because of what you did. It's because of what we did. It's because what Avniva did. It's because what NITO did. It's because of what the Pyrotechnics Association did. You know, it's the weight of all of these endeavors together.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And let me.
So, does anyone else have questions for Michael?
Yeah, I've got questions coming up here. I will say to everyone, if you want to be on that email loop, email me. It's mstrickland@banditlights.com, LITES, and I'll add you to the email loop.
Perfect. Anyone else have questions? I mean, I know you guys are emailing me and texting me questions all day saying, what about this? What about this? What about this? Now's your moment.
I think it's important to remind everybody to email your friends and family as well who know you with these letters, especially if they live in red states. You know, we need to get all these people on board. And, sometimes, you know, I have lots of family in Florida. I'm going to send it to them. I've sent it already to family in South Carolina and North Carolina, so, and Tennessee as well. So make sure you do that.
You know, the ability to pay your bills and eat is not a red or blue issue.
No, it's not. I live in Florida. Beth Weinstein here.
Hi, Beth.
You may know who I am. Some of you may not. I currently work with NAM and I had been producing their designer think tank in 2020 and am working with them to produce content and meeting with them in a couple of weeks. You know, I think the key for everyone is to make this concerted effort. You know, and we know a lot of people within our industry. I know I've pushed it out to all of my event planner people, to the DJ universe. My husband is a stand-up comedian and has the same issues that many of us are dealing with, and pushed it out to that community as well. I think the template is great. As someone who is very politically active, you know, and I'm working with Plaza as well, and I had a conversation with Laura Frank this morning about how we can push this out globally, right? So we're looking to partner, and I know NAM is looking to partner with as many people as possible in their lobbying efforts. We have, you know, all of us have a good network. I have a network of national and local news people. So we are trying to gather stories together. Laura and I were discussing this today, actually, about the whole We Are Events program, to build in stories that we can push out to media. And we're going to be building out a site that people can reference, and working our PR teams both globally and locally. So anyone who wants to add to that, please do so. I have left my email address in the chat. Feel free to reach out to me. Again, we're going to be building content. Regarding NAM membership, I've actually suggested to them that in the production community, they provide a free membership for like the next year, you know, just to get the community involved into the program and understand the value of it. That is not at all confirmed, so you don't take that to the bank. But, you know, if anyone who wants to reach out to me, you know, as soon as I get additional information about that, I will definitely
Thank you, Beth, for that. I mean, the big thing is, as Michael has said before with NAM, I mean, I've been a member on and off with NAM for freaking almost 40 years. But one of the big things that NAM has today that we need is lobbyists and also members, just a massive number of members. They're much larger than we are as an industry. And as Michael said, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, he said, you know, they have big time lobbyists and we don't. You know, we're a tiny industry compared to them. So,
and
thank you for that.
They're a brand name. I mean, everyone.
Absolutely.
The
well,
politicians
they've already got the whole room wired. Why would you want to start from scratch?
They've been in front of Congress for 20 years lobbying for the music industry, as in guitars and all of that. So they're a known entity. And Beth, thank you very much for that. Laura and I communicate almost daily to feed into her network. So she's been an asset. One thing that nobody's asked that is very, very important, which I have put out in a couple of things. I'm really excited because, you know, I put on my medical hat now. This AstraZeneca solution, I think I've shared with you. I'm on 3 calls a day, 6 in the morning, 9 in the evening, and 1 in the afternoon through the UT Medical Center. And we're going over everything. We've been doing it since March. For 10 days straight, we talk about the AstraZeneca solution. And I'm not medical at all, but it does 2 things for you. 1, it gives you an immunity, and 2, it somehow boosts your T cells, and T cells are important to your general health or something. But the medical people, every day when they talk, this is real, this is happening, It is a synthetic vaccine, which has never been done before. They take monkey blood or something to do with the monkeys where it starts, and then they put in some man-made compound, and they create it, and it's not holistically grown in a petri dish. And it has almost no side effects. It has potentially a mild headache, potentially a little bit of fever.
Small craving for bananas.
Yeah, potentially a little bit of potentially a little bit of dizziness, but nothing that can't be overcome by Tylenol. Now, you're not hearing about it, I think, for two reasons. It's being talked about within the medical community wildly, and they're still saying, as of last night, late September delivery. It's the first people getting jabs will be getting jabs Monday.
Yeah, I mean, I've been there've been a little bit of that taste of that on the news. I think the news is
yeah, I'm getting jabbed in 2 weeks because I'm part of the study.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you're doing 30,000 people, Chris. So
there's
yeah.
there's just the three things that have to happen: the indemnification, a little bit of you know, we'll call it oxygen to keep people's bank accounts going, and the vaccine. There you go.
If the vaccine works, it's a 2-stage vaccine. You take one, and 28 days later you get a second one, and after you get the second one, you're good to go. If indeed they roll it out at the end of September, that means by the end of October we should have at least 100 million people in America vaccinated.
You think they're going to let that happen before the election, Michael?
There'll be a political battle about that, but that's a plan. But whether it happens before the election or November the 5th, the good news is for us,
it's going to happen.
January, we can probably be in a place where we'll have some live shows.
But a lot of us can also agree that half the people who should take the vaccine and everything else will not.
Well, if they don't want to take it, fuck them. I don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
I probably won't take it because I've never. I mean, it's my personally, you know, polio worked. That was a pretty good deal. Tetanus works, but you know what? I never get sick, bro. I don't get sick. I think I just make.
I just want to chime in.
John Weissman drinks tiger blood.
While we talk about January 2021, I just want to talk to you all from a perspective of someone who is currently producing events, right? As someone who is with a company that has produced in-person events, you know, for years and then has shifted to virtual. I just produced an event earlier today. We, as an event producer, have no plans to do any in-person event through first quarter 2021 because there is no incentivization from the sponsorship side to be able to support signing a contract that puts you on the hook for a shit ton of money in an in-person event, because most of the people that we deal with, our end users, are working with companies that still have travel bans, and that their travel is not going to be covered until there is some magnificent bastard that comes through with a vaccine, right? That everyone feels comfortable with. So let's be clear that even if a vaccine happens, you have to be cognizant of what the appetite for this is. So realistically, companies that are producing events are really looking at, you know, I mean, NAM is planning on producing a January 2021 event, but many other companies and many other people, until there is that indemnification, are not going to make the investment to sign the contracts, you know, for anything probably until Q2 of 2021.
Look, I think you're wrong. I think you're wrong. I think you're.
I hope I
wrong.
am. I hope I am.
You're wrong. You are wrong, because it gets to a tipping point where you don't burn your house down because you see a spider, and our house is on fire right now. And so, you know, caution. We didn't become a great country and create inventive, creative products by taking the safe road all the time. Everybody on this call has taken risks, and they're measured risks. So what you're saying, I believe from a completely logical standpoint, but you know, I didn't build a career, you know, taken the safer route, and nobody.
Well,
nobody
and
on
I
this
mean, we
call did.
blow shit up every night too. So, you know, one of the things I wanted to mention is, I don't know if anyone's.
Marcel, let me jump in on that one
Okay,
point.
you jump in on that.
Beth, there are two critical points here to that. I agree with your thought process. August the 8th, theoretically, will have the liability indemnity. So that's
what we need
for that. But then, if indeed September the 30th we have a vaccine, certainly by middle of October, I think the emotion that you're referring to, which is certainly very real, will be largely overcome because there's both liability protection and a vaccine. So at that point, I will execute and I will stand up. And for those people that don't understand why these festivals canceled so far out, it's because they were up contractually against having to give artists and or production companies money.
Yeah.
So
it's all about profit margin, right? So
Well, but that contradicts what you just said. That contradicts what you just said. It's either all about doing the right thing or it's all about profits.
It is all about profits when you are an event producer, right? So I will tell you, the margin from virtual event to in-person event is huge, right?
Hold on, it's not all about profit. It's
not all about profit, but the people who put the funding behind it have to be insured about return upon investment. So I agree. If there is a vaccine, if there is indemnification, then people will be willing to sign contracts.
I'm more worried about the worldwide problem. Okay, so we're very American centric here on this call. There's some people from out of the country, but you know what? Like my clients, I've got huge festivals in South America starting in December, right? So if America's up and running, there's only so many venues and so many places that people can play. And if Europe isn't, or South America isn't, or Australia isn't, you can't build an economical tour that's going to make sense. It's not going to be it's not going to be the same world. So this thing has to get, you got to look what Michael Strickland and everybody on this call is doing to move our cause forward and to help us be noticed as not, as not like an afterthought, because we're a lot of employees and a lot of people and a lot of business, right? But it's got to go worldwide, and it has to be if you get an indemnification in America but you get sued everywhere else, what's the fucking point?
So John, one of the things I wanted to mention, and I'm going to post a link right here, is and I don't even remember who sent me this at this point, but it's a very, very interesting thing. And Michael, I don't know if you've seen this, but it's a test being done in Germany where they're doing a concert for, I don't remember if it's 4,000 or 5,000 people. And each person is wearing some sort of a sensor around their neck, and they have like blue dye on their hands. And so during this concert, wherever people touch, they're going to be able to figure out where all of these sensitive points are and who's touching the most in different areas, and how people are coming into contact with each other. And if, God forbid, somebody gets sick, how they got sick, where they got sick, who they might have been in contact with after they got sick, etc. And, to me, this article and this whole, and like Rob just said, I can't wait to see the results from this. Like, to me, this is the most brilliant thing that I've seen done since February towards our industry, because if the results come out of that and just say, there's absolutely no bloody way you can ever do a live concert safely, then, oh, well, we're going to have to figure out something else to do for the next 6 months or whatever. But if it comes out and says, hey, this is actually very controllable, and you need to, put bathroom attendants or put, a fence over here or do this over here, then I think, you can scale that a little bit. So they're testing it with 4,000 or 5,000 people, but maybe we can do 10,000 people in a 20,000 seat, arena or whatever. So, to me, this is an absolutely brilliant test that they're running, and if anyone's seen it or read about it or knows anything about it, please speak up. Nobody?
Yeah, I read about it yesterday.
I've seen it.
Yeah,
the link's in the chat.
My input's from a different place, right?
I'm talking to a lot of people that are outside our industry who are involved in, have contacts throughout medical and a lot of other places. And what I'm getting universally is that the demand for what underpins our services is so great right now that as soon as, if we get what Michael has talked about, I think the liability stuff is going to come very quickly. But the biggest problem we're going to have is that the demand for what we do is going to come back in a way in which, Wiseman and I have talked about this. It's going to be it's going to be very significant. And
Robert, someone was telling me, well, you're not going to get this, you're not going to get that. And I said, look, I only need 20,000 people a night per city. Okay. I don't need the whole fucking country.
Yeah. Like
20,000.
Look, it's 7 million people in Atlanta. 20,000 is how many, what percentage of it, Right.
Granted, different
I don't
markets,
know.
different,
Who
whatever.
can give us that answer? I don't know.
Yeah.
But to your point, Robert,
I have to be positive or I can't get out of the fucking bed in the morning,
To your point, Robert, when we get beyond this, you're 100% right. The demand is going to be probably 3 to 4 times what the supply side is.
I think the problem is going to be venues. You're not because then you're going to have the NBA, the NHL, Major League Baseball, all these, the NFL,
venues that have shut down, because they couldn't survive this.
Look, I've got a tour that's scheduled for May, June, July next year. Right, we're starting to build it tentatively. Right, it's a stadium run, and the dates are locked in, and they locked them in 2 months ago because they could with some deposits and they could hold them in anticipation. 2 months ago, May looked like 5 years away. Right. So now those guys, those stadium dates, because of the vaccine and the other things we're talking about, those are all under siege right now. And this artist is sitting on them going, no, I've got these dates. So what that tells me is if everything continues in a positive fashion, as it appears to be doing right now, is that you're going to have a shortage of venues. Somebody said, look, are people going to be able to afford to buy tickets? I said, you know what? They'll do what they've always done. They'll pull their fucking credit card out and they'll go out and they'll escape for the night. It's just
120%. People want entertainment and people want to gather at a level that the pent up demand will.
Dude, I would buy a fucking ticket today to go to a show, and I haven't bought a ticket in 4 years. I want that electric energy. I want it happening. Whether it's a comedy show like Beth is doing, or whether it's a stadium show, or whether it's a fucking I'd pay to see a fucking puppet show right now. So it's just it's
sure. The bottom line is that for everybody who is a naysayer, I take the opposite view of this. The glass is 3/4 full. The demand for our services is pent up, and all that needs to happen is a few key things. And Michael Strickland's been a great cheerleader for us, a great leader, and it's going to be game on, folks.
I think I think the biggest issue that the production people on here who all these deals are going to be renegotiated. The shows are going to be smaller. Let's face it. There's a few of us on here that rent equipment, and we rent people's services, and we rent expertise. So at the end of the day, that's going to be under pressure the most, because everyone's going to have their hat in their hand. They're going to go, well, we're just getting started, blah, blah, blah. But you know what? We've all had time to get our businesses in order for a fast restart, but a discounted restart. Okay. Hopefully it ramps up like Robert and I think it will, and then the prices should level out. I mean, I honestly, my heart is really going out to the equipment manufacturers, because if we think we're in trouble on the front lines doing shows, these guys are fucked, because who's going to buy anything, unless you got a light that fixes itself and hangs itself in the air. You go back to the very light days. People hated to rent that shit from me, but they fucking had to, because it was a compelling thing. They had to have it. Robert Roth looked me in the eye on a bus in Atlanta, Georgia one day, and he goes, Wiseman, I hate you, I hate your fucking company, but I have to have it, so I'll give you a chance. That was That was how I met Robert. He goes, "Hi, how
That
you
was
doing?"
the start of our relationship in Albany, Georgia in 1980, whatever it was.
Looked me in the eye and he goes, "I'm going to tell you right now, I hate your fucking company and I don't fucking like you, and I just met you. So here we go. If you can take care." But that's the thing, is that I have, you know, I've been on both sides of the fence. I feel greatly bad for the guys that are making lights and video and all the rest of that stuff.
John, let me bring into the conversation 2 leading indicators that I've mentioned before and tell everyone where they are. NASCAR has now had 3 races with 30,000 people in them, and it went swimmingly, it went successfully. In talking to the NFL, Jimmy Haslam, who owns the Browns, dear friend of mine, NFL's going full guns ahead to have full stadiums as of today. Now they're going to make that call at the end of this month, 1st of next month. College football for the big boys, for most of the big boys, University of Tennessee included, it's still full guns ahead. I sit in these meetings. What will quell that? The biggest thing that will quell both the NFL and the NCAA college football, because there's so much money involved, will be the political pressure, much more than the medical pressure, because people want to be seen to be doing the right thing. But right now you've got the NFL and the NCAA football, with NCAA is going to announce by next Friday, NFL probably the week after that. And but right now they're moving forward, and that's a good thing. Doesn't mean they'll stay that way.
I got an interesting little bit of knowledge out of the UK just the other day, and this kind of reflects on some of the things you were just saying, John. All of the rehearsal studios over there, LH2, the Fly-by-Night studios, Production Park, all of those ones that we regularly use are all pretty much booked up for next year now, and even for part of the end of this year, as people are slotting in rehearsal time. So
Same thing in Los Angeles.
Right, there's a massive anticipation that this is gonna go. So that's positive.
Arenas too, Mark. Arenas are on hold for 2 years in the UK.
Right.
Look, I see Beth waving her hand. What's up, Beth?
You can't get into you can't get into a
Wiseman
rehearsal
is now the
place.
traffic cop.
If you phone an arena for rehearsal space, they'll laugh at
She's
you.
making me dizzy. You're on mute.
Muted.
So I'm muting myself. Last week I
there's
produced
a
a
start.
conference for executives in the healthcare industry globally, right? A lot of it will have to do with personal desire. So yes, there is definitely a consumer demand in a lot of places. Look at the White Snake concert. But as the death toll starts raising, especially in the red states, as I see it happening in Florida right now, you have to be concerned about how we can go back to this safely. So I think every organization has to deal with, how do we restart our industry safely so we can keep the momentum going, right? So as states start opening up, everyone has to be very concerned about the use of PPE, how we're going to get it, how we're going to keep our crew safe, how we're going to keep our attendees safe, and understand that the attendee number may be capped as some of these venues, until there is some sort of clarification about indemnification. We have to be aware of this. So I think, as we start reopening and start our plans for reopening, we have to keep in mind, how are we keeping our employees safe? How are we keeping our attendees safe? And building
Honestly,
that
Beth, I think that goes without saying. I mean, I don't know that we have to say those things, because I know 100% of the people on this call, and everyone runs a pretty responsible business. So
look, I gotta make a comment about the death rate. I'm sorry, Marcel. I'll go back to the first thing that I said on this happy hour call several weeks ago. Death rate. Okay. That is thrown around so loosely. I was looking at the statistics last night, which, by the way, statistics, 3 ways to say statistician. Liar, goddamn liar, and statistician. 3 ways to say it. Last night, looking at the death rate, I was pleasantly, 1 death is too many. Just get that on the table. You looked at it last night. It's comparable to a lot of other symptoms or diseases or flus or viruses. It's very simple. But then I looked at the death rate. 85 to 90%, depending on the state, is over 68 years old with other cases. So,
My 35-year-old nephew died.
Okay,
My
so I'm like,
35-year-old nephew died.
and just like I said, no death is acceptable. No death is acceptable. None. Okay. That said, people die. People die of the flu. I have a friend that died of the flu 2 years ago before COVID was even.
They shouldn't die going to a concert. I can tell you that.
Well, yeah, and at the end of the day, well, absolutely. But you know what? Personal choice comes into this at a certain point.
Not when it's transmitted. When you bring it home, it's not those people's choice. Even the 65-year-old at home.
So I'm gonna back off this because it's a no-win argument for either one. There's probably very little you're gonna say that's gonna convince me, and vice versa. So we'll just leave it at that. What I am gonna say is that when a statistic is thrown out, it needs to be sliced and diced down to what it actually is. What consists of that statistic? That's all.
Yeah, but the only thing I would say to that, John, is the same thing I've said a whole bunch of times on here, which is let's just try and stay away from that because it just doesn't matter. I mean, on both sides of it.
No, that's why I said.
We're all right. We're all wrong. We're all right. We're all wrong.
I'd love to be proven. I'd love to be proven wrong, and I'm sure I'm not always right.
Well,
Marcel,
and I would agree with both of those statements.
Marcel, I've got to run. I have another meeting. I wanted to thank you and everybody on here for allowing me the opportunity to speak. And again,
Michael Strickland, thank you so much.
Thanks, Michael.
I've gotten
Michael,
several,
you're a superstar. We appreciate it.
I appreciate
Thanks,
that.
Michael.
Somebody's got to do it.
I think you're a way better politician than you are a lighting guy. That's all I'm saying.
That's not hard.
And you're probably a pretty damn good lighting guy. I don't know.
Thanks, Michael.
I've gotten a number of requests to be added. I will do that after my next meeting. And again, thank you for all that you're doing. You'll get another push tomorrow in the email group for another, what will be very dramatic, impactful moment to all of the senators. Be hugely impactful. You'll find out about it tomorrow. But we are winning. In my heart of hearts, I feel fantastic with what's gone on today. And the best thing that could happen to this industry is restart, be glued into this bill, which is what it feels like right now. And it ticks the boxes that we discussed. So thank you all very much. Look forward to next time, and I will see you then.
Thanks, Michael. Dinner one day. Someday soon, dinner.
And thanks to all the media people. They've just been fantastic. None of this would have happened without everybody here and then all the fantastic media folks doing a phenomenal job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
So I just saw Craig Boutros Burros.
Hi.
What the heck are you doing here?
I'm here.
Did you just wake up?
No.
He went to sleep in March and he woke up now.
I got my burn on today. I had
We
my
probably all should have, Chris. I mean,
in a
I
coma.
think we could have.
Greg, wait till we tell you what happened the last 12 weeks. Right.
12? Jesus, I wish it was only 12.
You want to hear what's happened with me the last 3.5 weeks.
Well, I happen to know, and yeah.
Yeah. I'm here.
That ain't funny. That ain't
I'm here,
funny,
though.
Craig.
Yeah.
That ain't funny.
Well, you can't leave that hanging out there. What the fuck happened?
I had to go back. I'm taking radiation again. I had about 23rd of 28 today.
God bless.
Yeah.
Wow.
John, literally the day after we talked last.
So I made you sick? Perfect.
It ain't the worst thing you've ever done, John.
Oh.
God bless you, Craig.
I'm okay. I'm going to make it.
I know you will.
Craig,
I tried to kill you myself. I couldn't do it.
That's right.
Craig is too ignorant and stubborn.
That's right.
To go anywhere.
That's right.
So, yeah.
I got to bail, you guys. See you later. Thanks, everybody.
Good
Hi,
to see you.
Heisman, you've been a symbol of positivity and brilliance.
Of something.
As
Symbol
always.
of something.
Hey, John.
See you later,
John,
guys.
do you know Larry Richter?
Yes, I do.
Why do you know him?
I don't know. Why do I know that name?
So.
What did I do to him?
I don't know if Michael Richter is still here. Are you, Michael?
Yes, I am.
So I had Michael on my podcast today, and his brother is Larry Richter. Michael is the production manager for REO Speedwagon and Stray Cats and all these amazing artists. But Michael's brother Larry is well, I mean, Michael, you can tell me, but Michael told me a story today on the podcast, and I was like, wait, John did that. So Michael's brother Larry was like he booked bands through the students union in a school.
There's there's a lot of people that came out of the university system. You'd be surprised. You'd be really surprised. There was actually a gal, Hubbard was her name, down in I think it was Albuquerque or New Mexico.
Barbara Hubbard, Mother Hubbard in Albuquerque.
Yeah, she had a ton of people under her wing, and then it's funny. I came out of Cal State University Sacramento and UC Davis, and I was hanging out with Mike Ledesma this weekend. And, Mike came out of there too. He was a college promoter and he went on. Now he works for Santana and worked for Paul Simon. And yeah, a lot of people came out of that university system. That's back when universities had venues and money and they were too stupid they gave us the money to book shows. It's fantastic.
I love that.
Yeah. See you guys later.
Wait, John, didn't you work with Steel Pulse?
Steel Breeze, different band.
Oh, Steel Breeze. So,
Yeah,
because
you're
again,
right.
Michael was telling me that his brother was booking Steel Pulse into whatever school it was.
Yeah,
and I was just like, wait a sec, this sounds like a story I've already heard.
No, Steel Pulse was a pretty big reggae band. They actually had a pretty long, good career. We actually were signed to RCA and had a couple of hits and a couple of big MTV stuff. And we did it was a whirlwind, wild deal, but they burned out quickly. I wish I was managing Steel Pulse. See you guys later.
See you, John.
Bye bye,
See you, buddy.
guys and girls.
See you, John.
So, what else did we want to talk about? Anyone?
Well, John's gone. We can talk about him now.
Wow, that's too easy.
Let's talk about LDI.
What?
Let's talk about LDI.
Greg, you and I are going to meet at LDI.
There ain't one.
Good.
I mean, I filled out a.
Who said there isn't one? I think we have some representatives from LDI here.
That's why I asked, Marion. I saw you.
I'm
Give us an
pretty
update.
confident there isn't one. Let's just put it that way.
Give
Is
us
there
an
one,
update.
Marion?
I don't know. Wiseman's ready to go to it.
I have two things to
I'd
say
go.
about that.
I'd
First thing
go.
I have to say is, as of end of business today, there is LDI. As of tomorrow, we have a board meeting. So if you haven't heard that LDI is canceled, let's just say it's on.
And as of Monday, you'll be sold again, Marion. So
that's very possible.
Let's just face it.
That's very possible.
No, I mean, honestly speaking, from my standpoint, I'm ready to go to a trade show and say hello to people.
You know what? We did a survey where I was personally and professionally very surprised at how many people said that they would go to a trade show. A lot of you probably saw, I think very many calls ago, very many weeks ago, you brought up the fact that we put a survey out that was just a quick, does anybody even want to do this kind of thing? Yeah, take a temperature. Exactly. Good point, Chris. And
Somebody did one yesterday. Wasn't that you as well?
No.
Or your parent company?
No, no. Oh, by the way, that's not us. That is, don't click.
Well, there was one like yesterday or the day before that I filled out
that's
some
not us.
survey.
You had to give them your Social Security
That
number.
one. Yeah.
The one where you had to
Social
put in your
Security number,
Amex.
credit card number.
Amex.
The
Yeah,
login your
first
account
phone
number.
number and
That is a scam. Just for the record, that's a scam. We just discovered that last evening.
Wow.
Yeah.
I filled it out. I'm an idiot.
It says we are working on behalf of Questex and Live Design, and please click
Yeah.
here to Exhibito or something. Yeah.
Who was that? Freaking Terry Lowe, wasn't it?
I don't know.
Is Nook
I
still
don't
here?
know.
Sorry, Nook.
But yeah, anyway, yeah, of course we're, it's not the easiest thing in the world to decide what to do with a big event, as you all know from experience. So we do have a pretty big board meeting tomorrow. It is a major topic of discussion. We have a really good feeling about how a lot of people feel about it on the attendee side and the exhibitor side. And, for us as, a company that produces it. So let's just say.
Well, Marion, I can promise you almost that you're going to have very few exhibitors, and it's going to be rough on that side because I know most of your exhibitors, and most of them are probably not going to go to trade shows this year. So it's going to be hard. I mean, it really is. I mean,
Depends how much
I can see a
government-
networking
I
event.
can
I don't
promise
know if
you
I
we're
can
not
see it.
deciding this in a vacuum. So you can
Yeah,
be rest assured.
sure.
You can be rest assured we're coming
I'm
out
with
with
you.
a plan.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Trust
that's,
me, a healthy LDI would mean, that's a good sign for us. You're like the groundhog coming out and
That's right.
is it supposed to see its shadow or not see its shadow? I don't remember.
Yeah.
Supposed to see it.
Patrick, why are you laughing?
It's supposed to do what you want. It's not supposed to do
Did
what
I
you
say
want. It's
something
supposed
funny?
to either depends what season you want to stay longer. So
Well,
not
I'm
supposed to
saying
do
if we
anything,
want
but-
LDI to be good, should
You-
it see its
See
shadow or
a
not?
shadow, yes.
Okay, good.
I
So the
have a
groundhog needs
lot
to
of
see its
feelings.
freaking shadow.
I have a lot of feelings I probably shouldn't express about how I personally and professionally feel about producing a show in this environment that is still X number. I could tell you that 3 months ago, I felt like we have all this time. Wow, it's kind of seems so far away. It
think we
doesn't
all
seem so
felt
far
that.
away. Yeah, it doesn't seem so far away right now. I'm with you, Marcel. There's like that little hopeful pang, but there's also sense.
I don't know about the sense.
Sense is out.
Speaking of sense, Creech, why do you look so pissed off?
Rob Gibson either joined Daft Punk or he is taking the most irresponsible Zoom call ever.
Why?
Because no one's looking at what he's doing right now.
Where is Rob?
What's that?
Oh, there he is. What the hell? He is Daft Punk.
Since he's gone, my friend, that's the proof right there. Fucking Ducati while he's taking a Zoom call.
That's
What
awesome.
the hell? I
Go
love that.
Rob.
I freaking love that.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Ride home with me? Let's go.
Absolutely. This is not responsible Zooming.
No, not in the least.
That's pretty damn funny.
Good eye, Patrick.
Hey, Rob, when you die, can I have his clients?
Creech, why are you so pissed off? You got on mute, buddy.
Because he doesn't know how to use the mute button. He's been talking for...
Nobody's pissed off. I'm not pissed off. Just listening. Listening to all you guys go back and forth.
Creature's smile. Did you not
You
know
had a
that
look on
Patrick
your
smiles?
What's that?
You had a look like you were like.
Oh no, I'm reading some video that somebody just sent me that
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense.
That would have been Patrick Dearson then.
No.
That was a different one.
Where it came from.
A different video that didn't make any sense. How do I unpin this frickin' Rob
from
Gibson
Getty.
video now? Rob, how do I get you off my screen?
Preach, you look like you're trying to watch the video on an Apple Watch.
Yeah, I pretty much am.
That's pretty damn funny.
Amazing.
That's funny.
I got a gig this weekend.
What?
Yeah, the chain smokers are doing a drive-in concert, and I was hit up to do the LED bracelet design and operation. So I'm curious to see how that goes.
But no lights for you to program.
I don't know. I mean, they're setting it up in zones, and I have no idea because they haven't gotten back to me. But
Or
it's
reduce the
Saturday.
bracelets now.
Yeah, no. But we'll see what happens. I will fully report in the next meeting how a socially distanced drive-in concert goes.
Congrats.
That's amazing.
Patrick, I don't
Where's
mean to
that
alarm you, but there's somebody behind you.
Where's that drive-in concert at, Matt?
Water Hill, New York, with the chain smokers.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Creech, what are you doing? What are you up to?
I'm here at the office today. We've got an artist in here doing doing 9 songs for a YouTube release, Dustin Lynch, on our soundstage. So I'm gonna hear mine in the store. It's good.
So pretty
Good to be
much
busy.
fucking nothing then, right?
No, it self-runs. It's all good.
You're like a security guard.
Yes, exactly. I just don't have my gun with me today. Huh?
Are you the studio manager? Like, do they come to you with the problems?
No, I got Getty out there to deal with that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure he's thrilled.
It's good. Him and yeah, it's all right. It's good. They're just about finished though. It's hotter than shit here though today. Not good.
So,
good though.
who else is here that we need to? Anthony Cahill, is it your birthday today or was that yesterday? I think that was yesterday.
Happy belated, Anthony.
Well, happy yesterday birthday. It's somebody's birthday today. Oh, it's Blue Hair LD's birthday today.
Yeah, Jason Bullock.
Where did Jason go? He was here earlier.
I think he had to hop off. It was his wife's account. It was funny.
Wow, Ed Wanabo is here today. Off the golf course, onto the Zoom call, just like that. Unbelievable. But his mic's off. Steve Warren. Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, I suppose I'd like the group to know about, the efforts that you, Michael, Patrick Learson, all made with Plaza last week. I felt that was really helpful. So
you pulled that all together. So
no, but you all, they're just like sort of the hub within. You guys were the spokes pulling it together, as you say.
Well, you did.
Really
So
helpful.
Steve Warren created this group of Plaza, some manufacturers in the UK, some people involved with PSA, just some incredible things going on in Europe, and then a group of us from over here as well, because, like we said about Michael Strickland and NAMM, the goal here, and I think the thing that we can do best right now is to sort of gather the message and make it sort of one bigger message as opposed to a bunch of little ones where you got all these screaming like mosquitoes in your ears, instead having one like thing just bombarding you with the same message. So
I think that's a really excellent analogy, the mosquitoes, because it's crazy because everyone's doing loads of really good work, but I feel it does just generate noise when they're not in harmony.
Right.
And I think it's been really great to see you guys pull together. We were able to look at the sort of the strategies that Michael's been using, and even if there was a number of direct outcomes from it, but I think the most important thing is just talking together. It really made everybody want to come together. And I know that there's a whole day of action coming up in the next couple of weeks, and there's a bit of a press embargo on that, or any social media embargo on that, because we want to really—
What do you mean a whole day of action?
Well, there's just some events sort of being organized by Plaza, but they've asked to keep it off social media, so I don't know how this—
Well, then you can't just drop it here and then not tell us what it is. You can't say there's a whole day of action, but say I can't tell you what the action is, but there's a whole day of action.
No, I mean, I'm in the lucky position of not—
WTF, Mr. Warren, what the hell?
Just a tease.
I know, less than—
What's your deal, dude?
No, come on, Marcel. When you said I brought that together, I mean, what happened is, Koi, because Koi's on the Plaza board, they produced that video that created sort of a lot of interest from me. I was sort of sharing it with my group. And because I'm on this group, I thought, why don't we just, also get some of the best minds here? You guys have been most active, yourself, Patrick, Michael, and so get them together in this. Andy was there as well. Andy's been doing some amazing stuff there. With this your second.
Yes, but he won't tell us either. He says, I got something to tell you, but I can't tell you.
There's loads I can tell you. There's loads I can tell you, and
that's the boring stuff. We just want to know the good stuff.
No, there is a day of action.
Wait, Andy, before you say anything, I keep seeing this. Who is Cheryl Birch? I don't know who Cheryl Birch is, but you have the most interesting Zoom picture here in like this folded position that I could never possibly do without killing myself. So who is Cheryl Birch? Does anyone know who Cheryl Birch is and can explain to me?
What?
Unmute yourself, Cheryl Birch.
That's yoga.
I'll have to jump in there. I was looking at that picture as well. I've been doing Bikram yoga for like 15 years, and there's no
No,
way
you can't say Bikram anymore because that guy's a weird pervert freak. You got to say like hot yoga or something. You can't say Bikram. That guy's nuts. I saw it on Netflix, so it must be true.
It must be true.
I want to hear Andy's info.
Sorry. Go ahead,
Okay,
Andy.
well,
I
talking
apologize.
of days of action, we had a really big day a couple of weeks ago with Let the Music Play. And there's another day actually starting tomorrow called Let Us Dance, which is the electronic music and nightclub sector that are doing a similar thing, just to sort of like put pressure on government to extend any support and measures into that sector. But Let the Music Play 2 will happen next week, which will overshadow any single efforts by single bodies. It's another joint effort. But Let the Music Play 2, instead of being an artist-led initiative, it's going to be very much kind of like crew and supplier-led. So it's going to be much more about crew photos, and these are the people behind this band that need to see further support. But that's going to be on the back of the thing that's on my other screen here, which is the Department of Culture, Media and Sport. They have a select committee which reported into the government's response to coronavirus from the perspective of the sectors that it looks after. And this is the creative industry, tourism and sport. And there are 3 different headings. It's an 84-page report, so do forgive me. I'm not going to read it all out to you. But
that would be okay with me if you don't.
No. It's 11:21 in the evening, and I really need to go to bed. I've nearly finished my little brandy, so but it's very critical. Basically, it's very critical of the government's response and its late response and its lack of recognition of the problem of the cultural sector and how it was closed down first and how it's going to go back at last. And it talks a lot about further support for sector-specific support for businesses and individuals once the generic support that's across all sectors runs out in sort of like September, October time. It's asking for more tax incentives for music as well as theatre. And it goes into the sport and tourism sector as well. So that comes out tomorrow, and that will be at the same time as some results from they've been doing some test events in like the Palladium Theatre, and a couple of other venues are going to come on stream too. So it's well timed, because anything that doesn't happen this week isn't really going to affect government, because Parliament closes down at the end of next week for summer recess. So any activity has to sort of like revolve around what they're reporting. So that's why the kind of like the Let the Music Play 2 thing is time to get the music industry together again next Tuesday. So that's kind of that's where it is. So it just seems
well,
that,
and they've been doing amazing things, Andy, and you and Steve and all of you over there. I mean, the content is incredible.
yeah,
really
I think
is. It's very good.
The UK Live Music Group, getting together and we've kind of stopped talking about supply chain now, because it's much more an ecosystem than a supply chain. It's because we affect cab rides and hotel nights and restaurants. The added effect of a show or a corporate event and a business event is huge, and it extends beyond just providing lighting and sound. It goes from the band making the decision to tour right through to the concert goer having a meal and then taking a taxi to the venue. So we're talking a lot more about the ecosystem now than the supply chain, because when we talk about supply chain, it seems to get broken into little pieces, and that is what makes the industry look a little bit disjointed. So that's how we join together. So it's a really punchy, critical report that is actually suggesting actions that a lot of people have been asking for right from the beginning. So fingers crossed that, because this is a report, this is by a select committee which is chosen from all parties, so it's a non-partisan committee, and it can be critical of government, and it is critical of government, and this is a government that's got a big majority in the House. So we hope that that's a sign that there is pressure there for some sectoral support once they get back in September. So yeah,
It seems to me that it's all coming to a head. All the stuff you're doing, all the stuff that Plaza's doing, and I'm going to really put it under Plaza. and the plaza management. As I say, I was just jumping in because I was seeing some really good stuff here, and had become aware of good stuff being done by good people, and it just made sense to try and pull them together. So, but in terms of the supply chain, I mean, the supply chain is hidden. It's, but you're absolutely right. There's all of the other things around it, as Michael was saying earlier, the restaurants, the cabs. And so, but the fact that we spent all our time, hiding away and dressed in blacks. And so we have to really sort of act up, we have to act up and be seen. And I think it's really exciting, really excellent, the stuff that you're doing, stuff that Plaza's doing. Just want to keep, pumping that. And as I said, Marcel, I'd love to share that with you. I know very little about it. As I say, I know that I'm probably should keep it a secret, but I'm going to just shut up. So maybe next week, a week after, we'll have some evidence of what.
Damn you!
I'm sorry.
Damn you, people. Greg Jones, goodbye, my friend. See you later. So, what else? Who else is here that we haven't picked on yet? Patrick Dearson? Oh no, we got him already. Anybody have anything to share, or who else? Bud Horowitz, what are you doing? I unmuted you. Oh wait, I didn't. No, you gotta unmute yourself.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go.
How you doing?
Doing well, thanks. How are you?
I'm okay, just doing a little bit of CAD work for some people, but not much.
Yeah. So what was your last gig, bud?
My last gig was Yanni, Mexico City on March 15th.
That was a good one.
Yeah, it was a fun show. We blew off the week and a half of shows following it.
Yeah, you had no idea that was going to be your last show for God knows how long.
God knows how long. A friend of mine went and did a site survey for a show in Indiana Beach, Indiana. There's I don't know if any of you know, it's sort of in between Indianapolis and Chicago.
I'm just trying to figure out where there's a beach in Indiana.
It's on a river. It's an amusement park, water park.
Lake Schaefer, Indiana.
Okay, there you go. And they want to do a concert in their parking lot next month. The pictures I saw that he took at the site survey, I didn't see one single mask, just groups of people pushed together. Should be interesting.
Yeah.
Be like Lake Havasu.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, we saw a few posts on Facebook about that one, and it's definitely seems interesting.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. He went and did the survey, but I don't know that they have talked to the government at all about any kind of additional restrictions or things they have to have in place. He said the whole time he was there, it was like COVID didn't exist.
Yeah.
I think they released a poster with the name of a bunch of acts a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he told me who the main, it's like 2 or 3 nights. It's all country artists. I'm sure it's 38 Special and a couple of country artists.
Interesting.
So I just got, I'm doing all the, I'm just doing the site drawings for it.
So I know that everyone's completely bored of the fact that that my son is a racing driver. And so for the last few weeks, I've been to a couple of races. And one was in mid-Ohio, which I forget where that is. I flew into Columbus, so it's probably an hour outside of Columbus. And that was like 3 weeks ago. And then last weekend, I was in a place called Alton, Virginia, which is where VIR, Virginia International Raceway, which is a pretty famous racetrack, that's where it's located. And so I was just counting today. I've done a total of 8 flights, 6 hotels, and 6 airports in the last 3 weeks. And I can tell you from my standpoint anyways, from my experience, it was a very good experience. It was safe. You know, every airport, everyone was wearing masks. Every airplane, everyone was wearing masks. I flew Southwest the first few flights, and then this weekend was United, And fortunately, I have loads and loads of seniority or miles or whatever, special whatever treatment on United, as most of us do. And so they upgraded me on all the flights, but you know, the plane was probably a third full. You know, honestly, like I kind of like it. You know, the airports are dead, the planes are empty, the upgrades are plentiful. Like I was on free tickets. I was on you know, mileage tickets, and I still got upgraded on those. And so, you know, for me, it's like, wow, this is pretty cool. It's so easy to travel right now. And I never felt unsafe. I never felt like, you know, I was crowded. I never felt like I was going to get sick. I was wearing a mask. I washed loads. When you walk on the planes, they hand you alcohol wipes and you can wipe down your seat or whatever. I'll tell you, the only time that was a little bit funny was I was in Virginia in VIR at the racetrack, and it's a fairly, you know, without offending anyone, I'll say it's kind of a Bubba kind of place. And so I was in the men's room, and I was standing at the sink washing my hands, and Bubba comes walking out of the shitter and walked straight out of the place, didn't wash his hands or anything. And I just kind of went, I was thinking, you know, before COVID, that was disgusting, but now it's like, what the hell are you doing, dude? So, you know, I mean, there are still people who just don't give a damn and don't see it as being any different than it was before.
Some people who will never give a damn.
They'll never give a damn, whether it's the flu or it's COVID or it's whatever the next monkey disease is or whatever. They're just not going to give a damn. They're going to live their life and do whatever they do. But I, honestly speaking, and I know that many of us think that as Americans, we're just stupid and we're not going to do the right thing. I got the feeling that most people are doing the right thing. That's honestly the feeling that I've had traveling over the last couple of weeks. I'm leaving for Atlanta tomorrow. We have another race in Atlanta this weekend.
You're traveling with the higher end of the world, right? I mean, the people who are traveling right now are
Southwest. Southwest. I don't know if that's the higher end of the world, is it? I mean
the people who
can on Southwest, Chris McMean.
I've flown on Southwest plenty of times.
So I mean, I'm staying in Holiday Inn Express, in Hilton Garden Inn, in Hampton Inn. I mean, these aren't Ritz.
I'm just saying that people who are actually traveling right now are people who need to travel for work. Nobody's really pleasure traveling right now, right?
I don't know. I'm not really, like, honestly, I don't see that. So I know maybe you might think I see that, but I don't see that. I see, you know, the guy next to me is the same as me, and it doesn't make any difference. So, you know, all I know is that they're separating people. They're putting most airlines are putting they're not booking the center seats. Right. It feels okay. Like, and the hotels are super clean. They don't clean your room every day, which is kind of a pain in the ass, but they do bring you towels. And I don't know, like it's okay. Like that's what I keep telling people who are really a little bit, you know, concerned or worried about traveling, is I'm just saying, you know what, like I'm doing it because it's for my son. He's racing and I got to be there with him. And I haven't felt unsafe or, you know, like there was going to be a problem at any point over the last few weeks. I'm at another race this weekend in Atlanta, and then another one next week at Barber Motorsports Park in where the hell is it? Alabama. Where does David Milley live? Birmingham, Alabama.
So what are his race specs or his stats now?
This is pretty funny. He hangs up on our freaking call and then he's calling me on my cell phone. Go away. So he's racing in Formula 4 and he's doing very well. And he's, you know, he hasn't won yet in the official Formula 4 series, but he's won in a lot of other series. And hopefully this weekend he'll win again. And next week, hopefully he'll win again. So we'll see. But, you know, again, the point I'm trying to make is just that I've been traveling, not because I'm reckless, but because I have to. And it's actually been pretty cool. I'd really love to get to Canada, though, to my house up there, you know. And I don't know how many of you know Michael Meacham, but he keeps posting these pictures from Canada. And the difference there is that he's gone for 3 months or 3.5 months. And so he could do the whole quarantine thing for 2 weeks. You know, I'm going to go there for 2 or 3 weeks, so I can't do the quarantine. So anyhow.
You got to get a Canadian. You have to. Does it matter if you're a Canadian citizen or not when you go up there?
Well, so you're supposed to have a reason to go there, which is family or, you know, someone in the hospital or something like that. And so, you know, I have my family up there. I have my mother who's in a home. And so I have every reason to go there. I have no problem getting a flight to go there and getting in. But the problem is you got to quarantine for 2 weeks. And if I'm only going to go there for 2 or 3 weeks, it doesn't make much sense. So Michael Meacham went for 3.5 months. And so 2 weeks is no big deal. And apparently I asked Michael Meacham, and he said during the quarantine, they called him every day to check on him. Where are you? What are you doing? And if you get caught out and they ask you for your ID and you're on that list of quarantine people, it's a pretty hefty fine. I forget how much it was, but it's a massive problem.
I was told the same thing by a friend of mine who lives in Montreal, that if you are quarantined, they will check up on you. And she said it was something like a $500 fine if they catch you the first time.
I thought it was bigger than that. I thought it was a couple grand, but I don't
It's
remember.
$1,000 the first time and $10,000 the second time.
There you go. There you go. Thanks, Anthony.
I only know this because I just came to Toronto from Halifax a few days ago.
Oh.
And did you have to quarantine from there to there or no?
I don't, because the East Coast of Canada has a travel bubble. We have 3 cases for 4 million people on the East Coast, so the Western provinces don't really care. But going back, you have to quarantine.
There you go.
Benoit, I see you're yawning. I thought I'd wake you up here with a
Yeah, no, I've been
call out.
playing too much. I just got a new computer for my flight simulator, so I've been tweaking
Oh,
everything.
nerd.
See how bored I am, really?
Yeah. So are you working?
There is a rumor of a possible job offer that would be not in this country, in the country we were just talking about.
Okay.
And it could be in September, October. I can't really say much.
A movie or a show?
A movie.
Okay.
You know, I would be jinxing it, so I don't want to say anything.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
But in LA,
Ghostbusters in Calgary. I got it. But
yeah, that was last year.
oh, right.
The good news though is in LA there are 2 productions that still have their insurance from earlier this year, and they're shooting right now. There's one in Paramount and across the street at Raleigh, and that's a Netflix movie called The Prom with Nicole Kidman and Meryl Streep. They're doing reshoots now with kind of a couple of days that they owed from principal photography. And then there's another show called Macbeth, and that one is at Universal, if I'm not mistaken. So those are the 2 case studies that all the producers are watching, just to see if everything is, if the protocols and the white paper and all that stuff are being adhered to, and if they're working, and of course everybody's waiting on the indemnity issue before they can really start planning. But the good news is that there's a lot of members in 728 that are working right now, not anywhere close to full capacity, obviously. And it's funny, one little anecdote that we were told is out of those 2 shows, there are no 15 passenger vans left in Los Angeles right now. Because they're pulling out rows of seats, they're putting plexiglass in between, and they're renting so many vans in order to shuttle people from crew parking and get on set on time. So whenever it ramps up, what are they going to do? I guess they're going to rely on these vendors to buy more vans. So that's pretty crazy.
That's crazy.
Wow. And then testing. It's still in, situation where certain productions are freaking out because they don't have a line on a good lab that'll give them results fast enough. So when it takes 7 or 8 days, it's a useless test. It makes no sense because you'd have to pretty much self-quarantine for that whole week to guarantee that you didn't do anything stupid. and then you got it by the time you got your results. But there's all kinds of cool things with the crew on the prom. They're reporting. They have an app that they're using for Warner Brothers. Then there's an app that they're using for the show. And then based on test results and all that stuff, it shows up with an authorization to come to work. And
oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so
that's very cool.
So it's actually happening. But I'm crossing my fingers. We'll see if I can make a deal for the other one.
Well, thanks for sharing that. AJ, I don't know how long you've had your hand up, but I just noticed it now. I'm sorry. You got to unmute yourself, though. Unmute.
Mute. There it is. Hi.
Hey.
Grandpa, welcome aboard. I put my hand up when we were talking about the Canada thing. I was in Toronto. I got back from a gig at the Palladium, too. Someone mentioned the Palladium in London. On the 12th, the gig was on the 11th of March. The 12th was when we came home, and I was in Toronto all that time. And now I'm in Portland, Oregon, with my girlfriend. So I kind of felt like I rushed into a burning building. I've been here for about a week. And the travel experience mine is similar to what you guys were talking about. In Toronto, though, they boarded strictly by rows and everybody sat down until you were called. In Detroit, when I transferred, it was more like they said, no more than 10 people, and everybody ignored it. So it was slightly different. You can't go anywhere in Toronto in the streets or indoors or in anywhere on the streetcars without stuff all over the ground showing you exactly what 2 meters is. And but the thing about the fines, though, yes, I've heard they do check up on you. I know two people that have gone into Canada, Canadian citizens from the US, that were checked up on, like you said, for 2 weeks. And the smaller fines are like $1,000, but they've been letting us know that if the baseball players get caught outside of the dome and the restaurants and the hotel there where they're quarantined for spring training, it's like the maximum fine is like $750,000. So like $750,000. If they really want to give it to you, that's how high they can go. So, and the ball players have all been threatened with like one strike, you're out. If they catch any of them, it's going to be $750,000. We'll see if they just spend it so they can, be the guy that went out and I don't know. But last I heard, they didn't get the go ahead from the government that the spring training was like, okay, try that out. But then they decided, no, they can't have home games in Toronto. So there you go on that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And work, I did a little bit of work. We did some work. It was fun. It was cool. We actually did a load in and a load out. It was at Center Staging. We put in a lighting rig, did Josh Groban, then Richard Marks, then loaded it out. So I just did a bunch of designs and programming and handed it off to Shaheen Lichmore down in LA. He took care of it. And Andy Fig, who is stage manager on One Republic, he was there to bang the trusses together. So, we did one thing.
Very cool. Very cool. That's awesome.
Hey,
where was that?
It was in LA at Center Staging.
Oh, okay.
And so, you had to think a day ahead and separate the crew times. And, they were trying to follow the guidelines. This was 3-4 weeks ago now. And we were trying to follow guidelines that had to be distilled. Britton Billick, who kind of managed the whole thing from Philadelphia. He was trying to, glean what procedures would be the best practices based on the guidance or lack thereof, and the safest bet and playing it safe and signing in and temperatures and all these things. It's we're chasing a horse where it's like, okay, so what's the best practice? What's the rule?
Yeah,
and maybe by
nobody
next year
knows.
we'll have some rules. Who knows?
Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
Anyway,
Hey,
thanks for
Josh.
letting me speak up, and hi to everybody. And
Of course. Thank you for coming, AJ. I don't think you've been here before, have you?
Every Wednesday, I've been literally doing something. Last week, it was flying here.
It's all good. I'm not calling you out. I'm just happy to have you.
No, I really appreciate the invite. I got brought in by Ben because I was talking to him about follow spots, and we had a grand old time. I talked to Butch too about follow spots. That was a good conversation too. Another couple hours.
Boy.
I'll mute
Hey,
myself now.
No. AJ, first of all, I just want to say I saw your Martin thing and it was amazing. Your Martin talks. They were brilliant. So thank you for instilling us with your knowledge. And I talked to Josiah Ronco. He used to be a guitar tech on Neon Trees with me, and I know he's a One Republic guy.
Why are you doing this, Matt?
Because I'm on my iPad.
Why are you doing this? It's kind of weird.
I got a new iPad, so I'm like, I don't know where the camera is.
It's right behind your finger.
Yeah, right there. But Josh, I know New York went to phase 4, which allowed film production to happen, and I think Craig flew out here. Are you guys in New York right now, or?
Well, Craig and we just finished a 3-week production at CBS Radford for Card Sharks for ABC.
Uh-oh.
Marcel, I'm out of here, man. I gotta go.
Bye, Creech.
See you guys. I'm glad everybody's healthy and safe.
Good luck with the eye strain.
Bye, Creech. Good to see you,
Coming
bud.
your way next week, Marcel, as well.
Wow.
Going to Jupiter.
Yeah, I'm going to be in.
Going to be diving
next week. Good for you, buddy. Have
You
fun.
drug addicts?
Oh yeah.
Josh, are you back?
Josh is all frozen.
So, the answer to your question, yeah, in Supermarket Suite.
Yeah, Josh, you're toast, buddy.
Maybe
Emily, when was your last gig?
Programming March 12th
For what?
for Doja Cat.
Oh.
Yeah, it's gonna be at 1826 in a silent house.
Oh.
Yeah.
And nothing since then.
There's been things that have popped up, but never actually confirmed, or they dropped the budget too much to take it seriously.
Right. So I, like most of the people on here, follow your occasional rants on Facebook, and I just want to raise my hand and say I'm always here to help. So
Yeah.
not that I'm gonna be that much help, but I'm always willing to try.
Excellent. Appreciate that.
So people, I am starving, and it is my dinner time. And this was probably the most amazing call I think we've had yet. And personally, I appreciate each and every one of you.
Well, we appreciate you too, Marcel. Thanks for putting these together.
Oh, Marcia, that was so nice.
These are great. You know, I mean, it's one way that I've been able to feel like I'm somewhat connected in a situation where I'm completely isolated. So I'm really grateful for these gatherings.
All of us, me too. You know, all of us. I mean, it's and you know, honestly, obviously having Strickland come in and share with us what's going on. And I mean, he really cares. I really care. Steve Warren really cares. Dearson has been doing an amazing job sharing Strickland's information, but also just reaching out to people and making sure that they know what's going on and stuff. So, you know, everybody just, let's stay together and we'll figure this shit out. Right?
All of us is really good. You know, it's this industry, this group, we lend ourselves to community, and the show must go on, and that's the most amazing thing about all of us.
Sometimes we just kick each other in the balls and
Usually.
say bad things, but
Well, that could be fun
occasionally,
too.
yeah. Exactly.
You know, a lot of people in our industry here in New York are just calling this the long intermission. So we're trying to just be optimistic, seeing that there will be an act 2. You know,
of course there will. Of course there
yeah.
will. I mean, and by the way, without making any kind of a political statement, which I think I'm about to do, I think we're part of that decision. So in other words, I think that we can decide not to do anything, or we can decide to do something. And I think we are part of that decision. It's not just the artists. It's not just the promoters. It's not just the governors. Some of it's us, and some of it's us holding back because of either fears or because of media or because of whatever. And, you know, I won't go maybe as far as John Wiseman will on saying some of these things, but I believe, you know, we have to believe and have faith in each other, have faith in the fact, like I have to have faith in the fact that if Marcia puts on an event, Marcia's going to try and make it a safe event, whether it's a Tupperware party in your house or a puppet show in your backyard or a concert, you know, across the street or whatever it is. I have to have faith in the fact that Marcia's going to be safe and kind of take care of us, right? And so, you know, that's how I've been looking at it. And I mean, honestly, I think we're smarter and we're better than we're giving ourselves credit for. So with that, I will say thank you and goodbye. Good job.
Thanks very much.
By the way,
Good one.
Bumper and Patrick,
Have a good
I love
week,
what you guys are
everybody.
doing. Good job.
Thanks, Marcel.
Take care, guys.
Peace.
And ladies, thank you so much.
Peace out. Have a
See you,
good
man.
week.
Everyone.